and welcome back to Live at 9. It's that time of the year. It is postseason basketball. It's March Madness. Everybody's going mad. What are your thoughts on Ole Miss, Mississippi State?
Well, first off, it's kind of weird being the viewee on this. I'm usually on that side asking someone, but I thought it would be good to talk about the big dance today. So Ole Miss, Mississippi State taking on Baylor. They're actually favored in this game. They've been the 8-9 the last 2 years, and the early game on Friday seemed to always be the 11:15 a.m. game. But what was weird was Ole Miss is the 6th seed taking on North Carolina, who won their first 4, and yet they're the underdog. So weird to be a 6 and be an underdog in their game, so it's just an interesting thing to look at.
Definitely an interesting thing to look at, but as we've seen, do the rankings really matter? What's your take on that?
Do the rankings matter? Of course. You know, you want to have a higher seed so you play an easier opponent. Although I really thought it was better for Ole Miss that they were a 6 instead of a 5. I saw the percentages. You're more likely to reach the Elite 8 if you're a 6 seed than a 5 seed because you have to play the 2 seed instead of the 1 seed in that game. So it was kind of interesting, but to get to the Final Four, you would rather be a 5 than a 6. So it's just kind of how the percentages change. I think both these teams, Ole Miss and Mississippi State, I think they're both have a great chance to win today, first off. And I think they're both going to be close games. I don't see any chance there's a blowout one way or the other, like they get blown out or they blow out the other team. I think this is going to be definitely a single-digit game in both of them.
I think it's the best. When you get here, everyone's really good, so it's definitely going to be just down to that last minute. You know, we're crossing our fingers for no overtime games.
Yeah, no, overtime, and all of a sudden, all the games start getting backed up. But I want to make a note. I thought it was really interesting. Now, it's the first time ever in the state of Mississippi that Ole Miss men and women and Mississippi State men and women both made their respected NCAA tournaments, not NIT, but just the big dance itself. I thought that was pretty historic because there's been some great players and some great teams that have come around here, but yet to have all 4 of those schools in, I thought that was really impressive.
It just shows you that the Magnolia State just has these great athletes, these great schools, and, you know, there's a powerhouse program, not only in football, in basketball, too. You know, got to remember that. Yeah,
you know, with baseball starting, usually some of these teams are out of it by then, and, you know, we're already into baseball, which is kind of crazy to think that baseball is already in conference play.
That's wild.
I was like, man, basketball is still going. We're in the postseason. And if Ole Miss or Mississippi State, or both of them, both make it another weekend, we could be in weekend 3 of SEC baseball, and yet both these two teams are still alive in basketball. So you're really getting the best of both worlds, where you could watch Ole Miss on a Thursday or Friday, and then they could also be hosting a baseball series that weekend, or Mississippi State, the same thing that they had hosting Texas last week. So it's kind of interesting to see all those teams alive in so many games, because football is once a week, basketball is a lot, baseball is even more.
Absolutely. Baseball is definitely even more, and we have tons of it. We're going to have tons of baseball even this weekend. Saturday, we've got JSU, Belhaven.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Jackson State, Belhaven. I didn't even know we were going that way, but I like that. Yeah, Belhaven, obviously, they were in the championship series in Division III last year, and Jackson State softball and baseball have been playing pretty well out of conference, so it's good to see with those two teams.